You ain't got any
agony.
You ready?
I'm ready, aye. I'm ready. Welcome back, guys. We've got an upgrade this week. We have some mics. I'm not sure how much of a difference they make, but hopefully it's significant. Yeah?
Yeah, it's great. Aye. Yeah, the mics are really good. What do you
Hello.
think?
Hi.
Hi there.
Right. Start us again.
Yep. I'll interview you.
Okay.
Hi, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Joe Bell.
ASL.
Great age. What a great age.
Right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Roast with MTN. We've upgraded this week and we've got ourselves some mics, so we need to try and remember to speak into them because
Sunday Roast?
I am. This is the Sunday Roast. This week we actually went to a little bit of a different topic, maybe not specifically for our clients, but we know that a lot of coaches follow us, so we wanted to chat a little bit about our advice to coaches that are maybe just starting in the industry, or even if you're thinking about becoming a personal trainer, our thoughts and advice on how to be a great coach, really. So we thought we'd kick things off with Alex's opinion.
Some of the things that you should do and some of the things that you shouldn't do.
Mike is up.
Okay, so we've probably got a decent bit of experience on this, and I think pretty much every single one of us has done probably one of these things at some point. And basically, guys, what I want to say is we did it, so you don't have to.
Every time you speak, I'm never sure if it's going to be comical or not.
It's gold anyway, that's all you need to know. Every time it comes out, whether it's funny or not, it's gold. So I'm going to start off with something a little bit less specific, but I think that so many coaches fail at the first hurdle by just not being a people person. Now,
I love that.
I mean, I'm not. I just think that there's right.
Oh, that's going to be so loud in that.
That will be horrible.
Anyway.
Sorry, we're back to back.
What do you think,
We can
mate?
cut that.
What do you think?
So I basically feel like
Cut to the fucking chase.
a lot. I'm gonna rap you, man. I feel like a lot of coaches actually, one, maybe shouldn't be coaches because they don't have the social skills to be a good coach. You could have like level 57 strength and conditioning for Aberdeen University, but actually you can't ask someone like how their day was or what they got up to with the family at the weekend. And I think it's a really important part about getting yourself going.
I actually think that, there's plenty of coaches that I wouldn't have said are great coaches, but that are great communicators and that can actually socialise properly, and they end up doing way better financially, but they also end up getting better results because they can actually communicate with their clients properly. So I think that's one of the ones that wasn't on my radar for this. But I think that's
probably the most important
Yeah.
one, isn't it? It's like just absolute gold, eh?
Go, mate.
Absolute gold. It is. It's like it's the majority of your job. Like these people are coming for an hour to escape from their lives. These people that are paying you money, they're coming for an hour to escape all the stresses and things that are going on in their lives, and then they come to that hour and you count reps for them and don't speak to them during their rest periods.
Yeah.
Like if you're not a communicator, this is not the job for you.
Yeah,
People person first, great coach second.
Social skills pay the bills. That's what I say.
I like that. You should MC.
Never heard you say that, Molly.
You said it, mate.
Yeah, I think that's with any almost any customer facing business. You need to have customer service related skills, and that sounds simple, but I actually benefited from working in IKEA in that sense because I was surrounded by a boatload of customers every single day, and I think having that little bit of life experience, it was 3 years working at IKEA, it was hardly a life experience, but having that bit of experience with customers and clients in general helps when you move into a career like this.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the things that we're going to say today, we said in that PTX, because it's like a lot of the things that we just like you see people do, you're just like you shouldn't be doing that in this job, and essentially that's what you're telling a new coach. Don't do all these things. Do some of these things instead.
So we'll try and be positive in some of them.
Like dress sense. Like look at me, matching jumper and trainers. Like, how am I not going to look good in the gym today? Like that's what you should be thinking. This is what you should be aspiring for.
Anyway,
You know the most annoying thing about that outfit actually is that the shoes just don't match the top.
they don't.
They're close by, but they're not quite there.
You never really get that though, do you? Like
Send them
just.
back, mate.
I know.
Aye.
No, I know. But I didn't have the jumper on yesterday when I bought them, so I didn't know they were just off.
Anyway, we'll try and cover some things that we've maybe. Do you know what? We've done a lot of like icks and things that we didn't like or think. Or we've even covered out of shape personal trainers. So instead of covering that, I think we'll skip over some of those ones. That is the most simple advice though. Like if you are looking to get into the industry, make sure you are getting yourself in good shape. at least some point throughout your career. And one of the easiest ways to pick up clients is just being in good shape. So we'll not spend too much time on that one because I think we've spoken about that at length. Other, like, what have you seen people that have made leaps and bounds of progress in a short time frame do better than other coaches that haven't?
Being really active on social media. In this day and age, like, social media is the big one to build a business. Yeah. If, like, everything comes via social media now. Like, it used to be, I think when I started, like, social media wasn't a big thing, and it took me a while to get comfortable using it, to be honest with you. I kind of was, like, in denial that I needed to use it, even when this started to become a really big thing for building your business. Probably already was, to be fair. But a lot of it was coming through word of mouth before. You're not getting that anymore. Like, footfall and gyms and stuff like that. If you want to be a really good PT, you probably don't want to be working in a commercial gym forever anyway. So you'll get lots of word of mouth and lots of like clients just through being members of that gym when you maybe start your career in one of those gyms. But ideally, you don't want to be tied to a pure gym that has all these set rules and guidelines. You can't build your business in a gym that has so many restrictions in it. You want to be somewhere that gives you free will and free space to just do what you want to do and build your business with a bit of character in it. Like in pure gym and stuff, you've got to wear their uniform. So is it really your business if you're not wearing something that actually advocates your business?
Yeah, I think that's the number one kind of thing that I've seen went against a few people that have started in the industry, is that they don't want to work in a commercial gym, but they don't want to put in the effort to market themselves that you have to put in when you work in a smaller private studio. That'll be fine, mate. I'll be alright. I'm really loud anyway. A man's voice. But yeah, I think that if you do make the decision that you are too good for a commercial gym, which I think some people do, like they start off their journey and they go, I'm not working in a pure gym. Yeah, I'm a really good coach. And you better be willing to put the hours in on social media. Because the only reason that I was busy when I worked in a commercial gym was because I did 10 classes a week. So I had 30 people in front of me 10 times a week. So it's like, okay, some of the people might be the same. It's 300 people a week that are just seeing me and getting an idea of what I'm like. My classes probably weren't even that good. And I still got clients off the back of it. And I was also very lucky as well that I was in a gym with like 8,000 members, and there was only maybe at one point I was only PT there, which is crazy. But you're not going to get that. Like you're not going to get it's a numbers game. I know I wasn't even that good, but it was the only option. But yeah, I think if you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to work in a small private studio or a private gym, then you're not getting seen unless you're being seen online. Yeah, and it's harder than ever just now as well.
We can all point out coaches that are great at coaching that we would much rather get coached off because we know how good they are at coaching, but most people don't know that because they don't put them out in social media themselves out in social media. Versus we actually know coaches that are very good at social media that are fucking awful coaches. They're just really good at promoting themselves. So you definitely, to excel and to continually do well, you need to have a balance of both, because if you're just the coach that's good at social media and you don't know how to coach, you'll get clients in the door but they're not staying, so you won't actually be able to retain them. And if you're the coach that's amazing once someone's signed up, well, you still need to sign those people up. So you might have great retention, you might get great results, but if you're not showing other people those results with social media, you're not signing anyone else up. So that's one thing that I'd say all three of us, but also the majority of coaches within MTN past and present, have done well, in the sense of we're all very good at coaching. We all know how to get coaching results. We all know how to transform bodies, but we all know how to portray them online. We all know how to portray ourselves online. And a big part is personal brand, like actually building your personal brand and showcasing your personality. So that's one bit of advice as well. Like, use social media for your business, but use social media to like showcase your personality as well.
Yeah. I'd say like don't get into this job unless you're willing to accept the fact that this is pretty much 50% being a coach and being a personal trainer and like building up those things and building your knowledge on nutrition and training, but it's 50% sales and marketing. So you're not going to have a sustainable business unless you get comfortable and good at sales and marketing.
I think for me, my second one I was going to talk about is, I hate when a new personal trainer talks about niching down too early. I think that's the worst idea you could ever do. I think as a brand new personal trainer, should be in your interest to train anyone and everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And take whatever you can get, because at the end of the day, the main thing for you when you start your business off, I think it's something stupid like 70% of personal trainers fail after the first 6 months, and it's probably down to the fact that they don't have enough clients. So if you then niche down to say, well, I'm only going to train teenage guys, then you're probably going to fall into that category.
Yeah.
I think if anyone approaches you to ask for personal training, you train them.
Yeah,
You just train them.
Yeah, the only time I'd say the opposite for that would be if you've already got like a specialist in something and you know from the get go. But for all of us, even still, like none of us.
What's your niche? 8 years in the industry. What's your niche?
Body transformations with fucking anyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's like, who was
Yeah.
it that told you that was your niche?
I was actually speaking to a guy about social media and I was like, everyone tells me to put my niche in my bio and say that I help men under whatever and women and like create a specific niche, but your niche doesn't need to be as specific as that. I will say, like, all marketers will tell you, like, the more specific you can get, the easier it is to market, but if you don't necessarily need like to put all your kind of marketing energy into the one thing, you don't need to do that. Like for us, it's the niche is getting like transforming someone's body, and that looks very different for every one of our clients.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, towards like after your first year or two of coaching.
Yeah.
I just meant like initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're just like cutting out a whole load of people that could definitely work with you. Yeah. And bear in mind as well, like I got a really good amount of experience in my first year 1-to-1 training 60-year-old women, 40-year-old guys, 20-year-old. So then anytime someone like that came to work with me, I'd worked with someone like that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if you haven't ever worked with a 40-year-old woman before, your first client like that, you're not going to be able to deal with them in the best way possible because you've not got the experience there.
Yeah.
Now I'm not for a minute saying that a 40-year-old woman is a hard client to work with. They could be, I suppose. I just mean it just means that you haven't ever worked with someone like that before. You should just have that experience.
Yeah, got different lifestyles. It would be easier to go, right, okay, I work with people, with men within 25 to 30. Like, there's not going to be as many barriers and as many new things cropping up and stuff like that you've not done before, and that can be the one benefit of it. But personally, like, I actually really enjoy working with a large variety of different people and having those challenges because that inspires me to continue my own personal development. If I come up against something that I'm like, I've never had to deal with that before, well, the first thing I want to do is research as much about it as possible, which is continue pushing me forward and continue keeping me like really motivated within my job as well. So.
Yeah, so I think the first thing there that was suggested was like put a lot of time and effort into social media. Next up, don't worry about niching down initially. Like you might find your niche. The benefit of what Alex is saying is like spend time working with all these people and then find who you actually like working with. Because we've all got clients now, or maybe we don't, but I certainly have got specific clients that I have more enjoyment from coaching. But I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't worked with 50 different types of clients. So I'd say don't niche down initially. If after a time frame you're like, actually I really enjoy working with those people, that's what I want to market, push towards that.
And you'll naturally gravitate towards a certain group of people, and you'll probably find that maybe through your own experience
You can help them more.
that you can help them a little bit better. But it doesn't mean that you can't help everyone else.
Yeah, my next one would be like get super educated on coaching. One of the biggest things in the industry right now is working with a business mentor. So many people have got business mentors, but they don't have actual getting good at coaching mentors.
Yeah.
But part of the problem is there's not a lot of great programs out there. You qualify as level 2 and level 3, you get your certificate and you can start coaching, and people think they've got the knowledge and know-how. There isn't a lot, or there's not as many courses out there that are like teaching you how to become a better coach. There's a lot of stuff on business, but I would say switch that on its head, become the best possible coach that you can, and then look to go, cool, I need to market, I need to manage my finances, I need to develop systems. You don't need systems if you don't know how to coach. You don't need to manage finances if you don't know how to coach. You don't need, well, you do need to market, that's maybe a little bit different. But you really need to focus on just becoming the best coach possible. So get yourself educated, find courses. If you're not doing courses, YouTube is the single greatest resource for coaches in my opinion. So do that. Other than YouTube, find books, find mentors, work with a coach. That's maybe one you want to chat about as well, Ryan.
Yeah, I just think like very much like you said as well, like get good on the gym floor. I think people, like everything is moving online these days, and I think everybody's so eager to just jump in as an online coach because it sounds cool. Like you think like the best coaches are exactly. The best coaches are online coaches, but you know, the best online coaches were personal trainers first because they actually put the groundwork in learning how to coach. Now you can, you know, get a good result by being a really shit personal trainer. Of course you can, because all you need to do is make sure that your client adheres to a diet. That's fine. If you're just going to be this fat loss person, then you're basically just a 1-to-1 Slimming World representative. That's fine. But if you want to be an actual good coach and teach people the fundamentals of training and training safely, and educating people surrounding these things so they can better their lifestyles rather than just giving them a diet plan that they'll probably rebound from at the end, then you need to actually spend time getting good on the gym floor. I know online coaches that I've seen in the gym and like training in the gym, and their form on their own training is terrible. And it's like, well, you're holding a lot of people's fitness journeys in your own hands. Are they sending you their own form? Do you know what good form looks like in those things? Because how come you're not performing that way yourself?
Yeah.
Big part of coaching is training. Now, nutrition's great and that's what gets you fat loss results.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's training first for me.
Yeah. I'd say that's a fourth point there straight away. Like, don't do online coaching if you've not got one-to-one experience.
No.
I don't know anyone that's excelling in their online business that hasn't at least got some in-person coaching business.
Well, how long did you do one-to-one PT for?
6 years before I joined MTN.
Yeah.
Probably 5-6 years.
I've been doing it for 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just kind of goes to show you, like, I think we're all great online coaches, and we did the one-to-one first.
Yeah, but like the quality of
Simple
results
as that.
does actually speak for itself.
It does
A lot
actually.
of that was learned through like actually delivering it in the gym. Like that's how you learn the craft. That's how you learn the job. So don't get too caught up in like, oh, I need to make all this money and I need to have 50 clients. Like, just get good at coaching. Honestly, like, spend 2 years making fuck all money and getting really, really good at coaching, and I can promise you'll make all the money possible. I didn't learn a thing about marketing, sales, finance, any of these things until probably 4 or 5 years in. Now that's all I consume because my goal is just to scale. But initially my goal was like, well, I need to get results, people. I don't know how to get results. How do I get results? I need to learn how to coach. How do I learn how to coach? Read, watch videos, educate, have mentors, do courses, have my own coach, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you're about to say this or not. I was going to say there's not very many amazing training courses out there.
Yeah.
But in my head, the best training course you could ever do is just to work with a really good coach yourself.
Absolutely.
The amount I've learned working with my
Links
coach
in
has
our bio.
been the amount that I learned working with a coach has been much more than I've expected. And again, I think that's just the kind of person I am. Like, I've soaked it all in because I want to know more about it, and that's probably just me. But like, I think like Ryan will agree. Like, working with a coach, you pick up so much that you didn't think you'd even need to know, and you do know now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would say, like, through training and being a personal trainer for 6 years before I even moved into online coaching, but I've been doing this job now for like 8 years. I'd say, like, I know a lot about training, I know a lot about nutrition, and I know everything that I need to know to get my clients results. But when I go and work with a coach who's further ahead of me and they've got more information on a topic that could actually be really useful with working with certain types of clients or more advanced clients that want to know more things, and I don't have that information. I worked with a guy that worked with Muscle Mentors, who folded now for a wee while there, and they're folded now. He started a new company.
That's like, yeah, they're folded now.
Yeah, they're folded.
Just in case we were like, Muscle Mentors, that sounds cool, I'll go and check them out. They're gone. All the guys that were in that have all got like new companies and side companies and stuff like that now. But yeah, like working with him, closely, I learned a lot, and not just about the things that I went to him to specifically learn about. I learned more about the things that I thought I already knew, but I got like a broader, don't know the best way to put it. Broader understanding. Yeah. Thanks very much, David.
You're welcome.
I was going to be hanging there for a little while.
I got you.
So a broader understanding of those topics, and I just think like it leveled me up as a coach, and also like even with just with like training and stuff like that as well, it's easy to go through the motions and get kind of bored with it and fall away from it, and then you fall away from being in shape, but then you fall away from being as good a coach because of those things. Like when you work with somebody else, it does give you a bit of excitement with training.
It's actually like, it is a pretty good marketing tool as well, saying like, even I have a coach. Like, that actually is relevant as well. So if you're a coach looking to get your own kind of business busy, like actually telling your clients, like, I've actually got a coach as well, here's the benefits that I've got, and showcasing them. Don't just work with a coach for that. Like, that's a very dumb idea. But I would say one thing on like selecting your coach, they don't like need to be the best coach in the world. Find someone that's like a year or two ahead of you. That's probably where you'll learn the most from, in my opinion, rather than someone that's 15-20 years ahead of you. You want to find someone fairly close to where you are, but they're just that little bit ahead of you, and that goes for a mentor, a course, anything, in probably any area of your life. Like, I've got big financial goals, but Elon Musk's advice would be pretty useless for me. He's like a billionaire. You want to find people that are like a little bit ahead of you, but make sure they're kind of closer to you.
I think working with a coach as well allows you to get into your client's shoes for once and start seeing the struggles that they have that you might have not actually sympathised with before.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if I'm coming up to a check-in with Andy and I've had a terrible week, I really don't want to fill that check-in in. Whereas I never used to get that before, when clients would be like, oh, I just didn't fill my check-in out because it's been such a bad week, and I'd be like, lazy. Do you know what I mean? But now I'm kind of like, right, well, I'm like, right, well, let's just pick up the phone instead then and just have a chat about it instead. Because I still want to get this check-in done, I still want to see where you're at, but I understand you don't want to run through a full check-in and tell me how shite you've been all week. It's a bit degrading almost in a weird way. Still a good exercise though, and I got it done, but... Yeah.
So I think social media is a big thing. Like, I think it needs to be a big focus of your business. I would put a lot of time, like a large part of your week, I'd say like a quarter of your week should be spent surrounding that, whether it's creating content, filming content, posting content, researching, getting better content. It's one of the first things. Get yourself in great shape. It's one kind of side one we said. What else have we got there? Education was the one we were touching on there. Get yourself educated.
I think like just to actually package all them together. Don't go into this industry just aiming to be another mediocre coach. There's plenty of those, because it's so frustratingly easy to get into this industry. It's so easy to get in this. You don't need to know that much about training to actually be a personal trainer. It's in the name. Trainer. You need to know more about training. So don't come into this aiming to be mediocre, and you would like, nobody initially goes into it getting mediocre, but you might have a wee bang where you get like a big bunch of clients and you're like, oh, I'm making enough money there. That's not going to be sustainable forever if you don't know how to get results and you don't know how to train people properly, because eventually they'll dwindle away and eventually that reputation will start to slow down. So go in with the best intentions, want to be the best coach possible. Who are the best people to learn from? Like, research all these things, because like Alex was saying about the statistics, I've read a statistic, 80% of personal trainers have went back to their old career job within 2 years. 80%, that's a huge statistic. And that's the people that are coming into this aiming to be mediocre and just get by. Maybe 5% of them will get lucky. The rest of them just weren't good enough.
I think one of the, I suppose maybe one of the last points to cover is be realistic and be patient as well. Like, you're not going to build a massive coaching business overnight. You're not even going to build it in the first probably 2 years. Use that 2 years to just know that you're actually, like you're saying, aim as high as you can. Totally agree. But like, also realise that you're not meant to be perfect within that time frame as well. Like, use that to learn, use that to get better, and don't worry about scaling your business. Worry about getting good at your actual job. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, get good at the skill of coaching first. Like, that should be the most important thing. Even before social media, like, get good at coaching first, because then you've actually got something to put out in social media. You've got content, you've got information.
It doesn't happen overnight. Like, every single year I look back at things that I was saying a year ago and think, I could have said that a lot better, or that's wrong, I don't actually believe that anymore. So like, I didn't get to the point I'm at like right away. It took a long time, a lot of mistakes, and things change as well and stuff like that as well.
I put up a story the other night talking about, here's the first time I took a video of myself and here is now, and it's obviously a lot better, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't have taken that first video. I should have done that, obviously. Like, okay, it's very, very boring. And I got loads of likes on it because everyone was like, "Oh, good try." Well, it was the first one, wasn't it? And
but still.
The next one, everyone was like, "Oh, well done, mate." And I put another maybe 5 up, and people were like, "Oh God, again, well done, mate." And I get like 20. And it's way better, but that's by the by. But yeah, you still have to do it at first, even if you don't think it's amazing. Like, just put it out there.
This will be a nice way to round this off. I'll ask both of you, and then I'll say it as well. Like, how long have you been coaching, and like, what's the last, how long? What's it looked like as a career standpoint? What were you doing? How many clients did you have? Year 1, year 2, year 3? What did the progression look like over a 5 year? Is it 5 years for you?
Yeah, roughly 5 years. Yeah, so went to college for 2 years. Came out of college, started working for a commercial gym. So I was getting a very basic wage and then earning a little bit more for selling,
like commission or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So it was basically a sales job, and I did a bit of PT in among it. Once I'd done 2 years of that, I then left there because I felt like I had enough experience. I was also really young as well, so I kind of think that worked well for me. I then went into one-to-one PT. I think I had 30 hours of one-to-one PT within 3 months. Because I had that kind of name for myself, and I took a lot of clients from there with me. I think within the next couple of months after that, I was doing like upwards of 40 sessions a week, which you have to do, by the way. Like, I know it doesn't sound much fun, but you should do it.
Initially,
You should. It's great initially because it's some buzz, and you feel like, and you feel like proper good about yourself because you're full, and it's like, and you think that that's the best way to go for ages until you kind of feel like I'm really knackered and I can't keep this up. And when that happens, it's just about trying to kind of think, right, well, now it's time to become, I've got a little bit more time now, it's time to become a better coach, work on my own training again, because your training's quite bad when you're, you know, doing a lot of...
This is about year 3 you're at right now, last 2 years.
Last 2, moved over to Commando, started working with clients online, started building it up alongside still a pretty busy one-to-one diary, and then now I'm working with the most online clients I've ever worked with and a little bit less one-to-one.
Class.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're a bit little bit longer. Maybe this will be a longer story.
No,
you're an old man, so.
Yeah. Well, I kicked things off as a gym instructor. I don't think many people would do that now. I don't think I would advise people to
Actually,
do that.
no one
now.
lasts. That's actually quite a good point. Sorry to interrupt, but like no one lasts that was a gym instructor that's probably now a like successful PT. That sounds like.
It's almost like a safety net initially, isn't it? Because you're scared to go your first self-employed role. So I went as a gym instructor, ended up in like doing managerial stuff, taking loads of classes, and I was just a mobile PT, just trained a few clients, like family friends and all that, in garages and houses, and had kit that I would take about in a car for a while. And then I moved over to another gym as a manager, but I only had 20 contracted hours, and the rest of the time I just PT'd, and I just built up personal training clients over time. Started working with an influencer, and then that blew up my PT business. Started working for somebody else for their big group training thing at the time. Don't know if it still is. Yeah. At the time, that was the biggest thing in Scotland. Probably had like 500 people doing strength and conditioning work. It was massive, and they had obviously coaches working for them and helping out. When me being one of those, he also had a second gym, and that's where I was PTing all my clients. And at that point, I was doing upwards of 50 hours. It was mad. I was knackered all the time, but it's when I probably learned the most, because I was working with loads of different types of people. I was working obviously with coaches who'd been doing it for longer than me and more experienced than me as well. And then where are we at? I moved the shed. And then I moved to a gym in Thornley Bank. We went into lockdown, met David, started doing online coaching, came to Commando, continued PTing probably 30 hours, set some goals with David to try and whittle that down, 20, 15, 10, 5. Now I don't do any PT, I online coach generally about 40 clients now, and I've got a group training company that I run with Dale, where we've got 6 groups and 72 people working under us, so it's took a long time to get there, but it's coming.
I think that's good to see. Like, I mean, both Ryan and Alex are like probably where any new coach would be like, fuck, that's what I want. Like, that's an aspirational thing. Yous are probably like, yeah, it's alright, like it's just what you do now, so it's probably quite normal for yous. But I think as a new coach, that's definitely something to aspire to. But look, that's 5 years, that's 8.5, close to probably 9 years. It takes a lot of time, like, and there's times that they probably both were like, fuck this, man, this is hell, like I'm not enjoying this. But I think on the most part, most of it's, if you do it right and you find the right people to surround yourself with, it can be very upwards.
I think I should say as well that it could have been done, probably for both of us, it could have been done faster, because there was definitely times where we weren't like quite as on the ball as possible, but at the same time, the longer it takes you, the more experience you've got when you get there. So it's not a bad thing to think I need to rush this, just go with it. As long as you're working hard enough, these opportunities will crop up.
Could have been done a lot slower as well.
No, 100%. Like, true. I think employment sidetracked me massively. Like, it was almost like as soon as somebody hands you a little bit of responsibility, you feel important within that place, but your income's pish. Like, no matter how high you get. So it's just, the only reason that would be good is if you're a control freak and just like telling people what to do and feeling important in a place. But when it comes to actual revenue, like, it's a great industry to earn money in if you work hard at it.
Now you just tell people what to do outside in a group training facility.
I just tell you what to do.
Nah, don't listen, guys. I never listen. Don't worry about that.
No, I think that's a good way to round up. Like, if you are new and you're watching this or new to the industry, take some of that advice. Like, I hope you take some of it, because it's worked very well for the three of us alongside the other coaches that we're surrounded with. And yeah, I suppose that it was good hearing from Ryan and Alex there, because it shows you that it does take time. Like, you're not going to get to where you want to be overnight, so be patient with it, trust the process, put the work in. If you need any help with actually building your business, if you need any help with actually getting yourself in better shape to build your business, get in touch with us. We've got a lot of experience with working with coaches, we've got a lot of experience with training coaches to become better at their jobs as well. So get in touch if there's anything else we can do to help, and also just DM us any Instagram messages. We're more than happy to reply to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. And Sin Training has a new block starting on the 12th of September. Happy to have some coaches in there and show you the ropes.
And if you're wanting a pair of these, then you work with me.